Hi, welcome to iTalk. My name is Irene up here, Member of Parliament and Member of Community, and I'm thrilled to have you here at my first episode of the podcast iTalk, where I bridge community and politics. I have wonderful guests here with me tonight. Is it tonight? It's daytime, actually. and I'm so happy for you to be part of this show because all of you know that it was real spontaneous. So welcome Irene, Anitey,
Thank
another Irene on the set, who is focusing on entrepreneurship and businesses within our community. We have this one and only lovely lady, Love Newkirk. Everyone who lives in Hamburg and lives here for some time must or do know you. She is known for community engagement. And by the way, she was the first Black VJ of our Hamburg community. So last but not least, we got Ajay, who's also the owner of this Pothouse, where we are going to have the show for the next season. PY, you are focusing on media and storytelling.
Yes.
So thanks for being my guest. And in case you just wonder why I'm speaking in English, this is a community podcast, and it should resonate with the community. But it doesn't take the responsibility for me also to have some shows in German. So just stay tuned, and whatever the topics are, you'll get to see and get to hear. Today it's about the community engagement, and how we actually put our strength, our ideas into society, and how it resonates. So off to you now. Let's start with PY actually, because because we are in your house, and I'd like for you to first of all introduce yourself, and why do you think, or what was your thoughts when you started to actually establish this wonderful place?
My name is PY. If you can tell by the accent, I've lived in England for a very long time. Moved to Hamburg about 4 years ago, probably. And I've always worked in content creation, content management, even as a career and everything. And podcasting was one of those new things that I think I stepped into, because when I got to Germany, I was a little bit, frankly, worried about the community. And so I started speaking to my friends, what's going on? Because being from London, we're heavy in the Black community. A little bit less than the US, but we're very heavy in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some concerns. Speaking to friends, we were having very interesting conversations. So I thought, hey, let me put this on camera. So started filming in my living room, and eventually it became something that I got really into, and it led to this. So I love the fact that I'm finally able to have community conversations, not just with my podcast, but with other people's podcasts and other voices as well. So yeah, that's pretty much how I ended up here.
I was a guest in your show once, and that's where we actually also clicked, especially when we were talking about the how we call ourselves.
Oh, I don't know.
So, and when I just mentioned that 2 days ago, you said you're more confused than before. Would you explain why you're so confused and what's so confusing about it?
So a major part, in my opinion, of the Black community or the African community in Germany is identity, and the shared identity, not just identity. Like, what do we share? Because I do consider myself part of the community now. And like I said, being from the UK, not everybody agrees with it, but there is a very heavy Black British community. And every time you say this, especially on social media and stuff like that, people think you're trying to be part of the wider population. Like you're trying to identify yourself with the white people rather than your Africanness. But what they fail to realize is that that shared Black British idea and that community is what has birthed some of the cultures that now run commercial spaces in Britain. So if we didn't have that togetherness, I mean, individually, we know where we are from. We know we're Jamaicans. We know we're Caribbeans. And we know we're Africans and we're Ghanaians, all of that. We love all of that. But together, we share something. So the birth of our music genres like grime music and Afro swing, and to an extent, Afro beats, was because of that shared idea of Black Britishness. And what I find in Germany is people are so heavy on the, don't call me Black German, I'm African. I know that. But what shared identity do you have with your Congolese brethren, your Brazilian, your American brethren? What identity do you all share together? And that is missing. And for me, that's the biggest part of it. Right. That's why I'm more confused now than I was before, because people are just not willing to accept it at all.
Okay, is that what you came to experience?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. Irene, off to you now. How are you?
How did I come to do what I do?
No, how are you? How are you today?
I'm very great. I'm very excited to be here. I'm inspired now I'm now thinking about how I came to what I was doing, because a lot of the thoughts you have, I've observed. I was born and raised here in Germany. I'm from Hamburg. So I haven't really had the opportunity to really look from the outside in and really think about it. But I still, my background is in advertising, marketing, market research. So at some point in my career, I also studied business psychology. So I started studying people, the way we interact and everything. And I noticed that the community here, the Black community, was actually so separated because of the observations you made. And I also felt like my parents moved here, my dad in the 70s, my mom in the 80s. And my dad was self-employed, my mom is a worker. I've seen both sides of realities that a lot of immigrants have. But because of my dad, because he was able to build something for himself, I had a role model. And I saw what helped him grow or what helped him move and make certain decisions was his network with the people around him. And the people around him were not only people from his community, but from other communities, people who had already walked the way. And when I was still working in advertising, I came in touch with an organization called, formerly called the FOGG, Future of Ghana Germany, now Boldly. And they are doing a lot of great things for young people, young Black people in Germany. And they had many different programs also in the business sector, especially when it came to bringing people together to promote their knowledge about certain business aspects, how to move up the ladder, and maybe also how to start a business. Starting the business focus wasn't really there yet, but some great people of my team who used to be very active in that team actually wanted to build something and generate more visibility on that issue. That there are a lot of people who have great ideas. They want to build something for themselves. They want to impact, create solutions for issues that are already here. But a lot of the times they're lacking the infrastructure, the network, the funding, the knowledge. How do I even start? So that's how what we're doing now, IDEA, which started out as the first startup competition for Black people, kind of like the Lions Den, or Höhle der Löwen in German. And now we have created, we started in our first event was in 2020. This year will be our 5th year. And along the line, we have created, we call it the biggest business and culture platform, because we really want to bring people together. We want people really connect with their roots and culture, but also find solutions for the issues that are prevalent in our community.
Is that all an idea, or are you talking of boldly in general?
Idea.
Idea.
Actually was originated in Boldly, but we
Separated.
Yeah, we separated and kind of are owning the business side of things when it comes to community engagement.
Which I get. Yeah, because Boldly used to be, it is like as an association, right? Without the perspective of economic.
They have it too,
aspects,
but
right?
they are starting younger. So they are
Okay.
preparing the young generation, the kids, people in schools and students to get into work or businesses. Yeah.
Okay.
And we are starting like from university to early professionalism.
All right. Okay, I get it. Actually, it's interesting because when the idea of idea was actually in some sort of like a think tank. They had like one of those work spaces where people came together, and then they pitched. Everyone was like thinking and bringing ideas, shared ideas, and one of the ideas was like the entrepreneur section. I was there as well, so that's why I know how the whole thing like started, and I find it really fascinating what you guys actually build out of these ideas that was just put in, and how you guys shaped the whole thing to the pitch, and how that pitch became so strong and founded and known well in Germany, like so. For you guys, in your role functions as you are right now, what do you're taking it now from from Hamburg, from Black scenery up to the Afro-diasporic outside, back to the continent.
Yes.
How, what stage are you guys right now, and what do you guys need? Like, if you take it into the perspective of the diaspora, and on the other side, politics, in between there, I guess there are some things that are missing. Would you highlight some of the acknowledgements you made?
Yeah, so why we do what we do is because we understand that, especially people around my age, we're the second generation of immigrants here. We grew up here. We were able to get the schooling. So, and we are also getting into better paid jobs and all of that, because we are in academics and everything. So that backing actually helps us understand the systems better, get into the rooms that were where our parents weren't able to enter, and build networks. But we're also realizing that the structures are not there yet. So, like you said, all these different communities, they're not even within. Hamburg has a very strong Ghanaian community. Even within the Ghanaian community, as an example, there are many different small groups that are not working together. And we started with the motto of the power of community, inspired by the saying, the African proverb, it takes a community to raise a child. We're actually saying it takes a community to build a business, because you cannot do it alone. So we see the strength in working together, not only on the business side, but what we need is structural access. So it is very important to work with politicians like you, and also other entities in the political field, in the economic fields, different associations. Everybody has their role. Activists, business people, educators, politicians, and we understand we have to bring everybody together. And that's why the event idea started with creating visibility for the issue, and then to actually get into basically the strategy, we started programs to educate people on how to start a business, how to get access, how to build your network, how to get funding. And we started here, but then we also have to understand we have to build bridges with the African continent, not only because it's the future. In the future, in a couple of decades, young African people will dominate world economy. So we understand that it is an opportunity to tap in now and support those structures over there, because we have the knowledge of what the Western structures are, but also we can build bridges because, for example, Germany, we want to help sustain German economy as well and create collaboration between both worlds. And what we're doing now is we are working also with the government to create structures to support founders on the African continent, to connect founders from here with African founders, and to create structures where both sides can profit. Also, we started out with the startup focus, but we are also now getting into the labor force gap, basically. So we are working with other organizations to also create labor mobility opportunities, so people with talent and young people who actually will
Can also tap into it.
help here, can tap in, can move here, but also go back and forth, and both economies can actually profit from that.
It's very interesting because what you just highlighted are political, how do you introduce? You know, like we have our schedules, and of course it's very clever also to look at that one and then have a combination of both, you know, like for instance, me as a political person, I also, of course, I've been elected and I stand for the whole public nation, like, or for all people, not only for Black people. But of course, as an addition, just simply based on who I am, I represent a certain community. And I always, you know, have a focus also on the community aspect and how we can also, you know, gain our power among the diaspora and have also our numbers working for us, not only against us, but always also for us. So all these aspects, I remember 2014 talking to GIZ, telling them to, you know, focus on their diaspora and also use their skills and their input in order to do things on the continent. We're finally there, but that's like 12 years later.
We're still getting there.
we're on the rise. But now, off to you, love. We're going to talk about all this and fuse it. Love, you are an icon, Hamburg icon. I would say like someone, like I was younger and she was the only person that I saw in TV in Germany, like in Hamburg. First Black woman, and we were all like, wow, VH1, you've seen a Black woman? Back in the days, you had red.
I did. Head full of locks.
And she was, she became a personality for us. But along that, I told you when we spoke on the phone, I asked you to come because you are one of the faces, one of the main faces for Black History Month, which we are going to be celebrating very soon.
Yes.
30 years in Hamburg, and you're one of the people who really pushed the agenda for it. But beside that, there were different kind of platforms, some as she's describing now, African heritage, for instance, where young people, Black people would come together, learn about their history, would be dancing, would be singing. Please tell us what inspired you to do what you're doing for so many years.
Ooh, yes. As we spoke the other day, when I reflect on all the things that I've been blessed to be a part of, it's just been a wonderful process. Coming from the United States as an African American woman, I didn't learn anything about my history until I was in college. Our history books, and I found out later that in Germany and most places where people of color or black people reside, the history is just not there. It's just not there presented in the schools. Thank God for the World Wide Web. We can almost find anything that certain people are allowed to put in. So I came over. Originally, I was a teacher, and then I became a single mother of 2 children who are now grown. And I don't even remember the circumstances, but I went up to New York for an audition for a Broadway play that I had seen as a teenager, and I got actually a lead role that brought me to Europe. Mm-hmm. So that was a major experience, traveling all over Europe. And then I came back to Hamburg on a tip from someone that I met along the way to try to get a gig as a singer in a band, because I didn't really aspire to be a performer as a young mother, but that was the highest paid opportunity. Yeah. Right. And as an educator, the crux of my performances are always edutainment. Yes, I sing, but the content is always either uplifting or educational if I'm dealing with younger people. Okay. So culminating all these life experiences back in the day with Black heritage or African heritage, and then 30 years ago, a sister, Cynthia Utterbach from the States, started Black History Month here. We started in a then club, I know the name of it, and it just flipped away from me, a small jazz club. And
Birdland?
No.
Okay.
My brothers and sisters who are watching, if I don't get it by the end of my speaking right now, please type Irene. Oh, my goodness. God rest his soul. But anyway, it was small. I mean, more than 60, 70 people could not fit in there.
Where was it?
I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was off of...
Heuschenstraße?
Give me, let my mind not work so hard, maybe. God, forgive me. But anyway, yes. So Cynthia, basically, who was the spearhead, and I, Sister Olorun Toyin, a lot of people know her as Latoya, one section of the room in the back where this was a jazz club. We would have the children there coloring or whatever activities. Back in the day, we had a projector for historical events. Now, mind you, because African heritage or Black History Month comes from the American Black History Week, and then it became more, and then now it's designated as February of any year, but we know the Black History is made every day. And since I even started, I'm always praying not to need anything like Black History Month again, that it will always be infused in true history. So anyway, yeah, it started Dennis Swing Club. You guys are too young to know it, but I mean, all the great jazz greats, Duke Ellington, whoever came through Hamburg, they hung out there afterwards. Okay. Small club. Yes. So one corner for the children. She fried the chicken, baked the muffins, called the band. I moderated and helped organizational stuff. That was our first one. Then it grew to different places. Then we started to have a poetry night. And fortunately for Brother Nigel Asher, who's taken over many of the years of Black History Month, developed it and made it clear that I had to, because Cynthia was then gone, that we need to make it a diasporic event. Yes, it's based in Black history of America, because it was very heavily Black History Month of American history. Yeah. But now I'm in Germany, I'm in Europe. There's Africans from all parts of the motherland. So as well as we could, we had programs for the motherland, we had the Latin connection, Caribbean connection, the American, of course. So it was always very educational, very entertaining. So food was always a part of it, to have an African or Black-based catering.
Food.
Don't even try a program without it. Of course, music, whether drumming, dancing. Always important to us were children's program and youth programs, that they learned more about their history and were excited about bringing other people in. So this worked for families, people who had children. The adults could have an opportunity for a family thing. They would maybe be more interested in watching a film in another room. And the children had people working with them, whether to teach them about their history or do some sewing or drawing, something based on their culture. And it grew. We did things at, I think it was even at, what is on Holzenstrasse where they have the play there? Stage Club.
Yeah, a long time.
Yes. And then in the bunker, there's also different programs that are involved. Resonanzraum is where we're doing our 30-year celebration, February the 1st.
Exactly.
So that is also a room that has also been used for many things. So we're celebrating 30 years. It's so exciting. Oceana is going to be visiting with us.
Wonderful.
One of a very famous Afro-German pop singer, performer, and we have different other types of talks and information and just the celebration of it. Because when I sent out the invites, people were like, oh man, I can't wait to see everybody again. It was always an annual wonderful experience.
Wonderful.
So being a part of a real Black community, because of course coming from the United States, we're African American, we're Black American, we were born and reared there. Basically one language, one history, dealing with the racism, be that it is the way it is. But coming, and as you said, Brother P.Y., sharing this commonness. What makes me common? I'm in Germany and I'm meeting people from Senegal and the Caribbean and other Ghanaian countries, Nigeria, South Africa. I'm just I just feel like I can take my blinders off. I had to take my blinders off.
Yeah.
I learned more about my Black history on Arte French television than I did in America. And this was a great point you made, P.Y. The shared joys, the shared challenges, and we really are prayerfully finally getting over ourselves with the differences. Like Maya Angelou said, we share more similarities than we do differences.
Irene said something about numbers
Yes.
in the communities, and I think that's the main key. We do have numbers here in Hamburg, and we just don't really know what we can do with those numbers. I think we're coming to it, like it's coming to us more and more. Like we're getting the idea of what we actually as a community can do. For instance, we are heavily looking for rooms, right? Because if there's one thing that our community really knows how to do, is like having events about, and still, oh my goodness, I'm hungry, and still
we have to rent a room somewhere else.
Instead of like it just putting our resources together and then by seeing the entrepreneurship in it, we are still not there yet. And I hope that's something that we can, I hope that we will get that.
May I just interject with the Afrotopia, where Christian Iyivi, I'm not sure if I say his name correctly, invested his own money. But that's just one building.
Yeah.
You know, we need more. We need our libraries.
Yes.
We need our performance spaces and rehearsal space. My main career is performance and education, of course.
Yes.
I mean, even though I was an educator first, I still get more done on my inspirational and uplifting level as a performer. And I was talking with Irene over here. I'm so enthralled with all of you because the entertainment level that I'm at, if I can get to an advisory board that teaches us or teaches me, because I think that in these last months I actually have been developing a production company, starting with entertainment, starting with getting the Black performers placed properly, paid properly, treated respectfully. How do I build that up? How do we build that up? And so you brought something very special together. It's very important that we understand the politics of life, not necessarily the politics of politics, but the politics of
Right.
business, the politics of the
Media.
media,
Yeah, talking
the
about- I'm gonna talk
politics of
about that as well.
education.
Yes.
And it is the truth. So the word politics, like lawyers, has gotten a bad rap, but my mind is beautifully opened and reminded how this particular Hamburg community, and I love hearing this bridging back to the motherland, where many of your older parents or grandparents, or even still, come here for educational purposes or visiting purposes with a plan to go back. And I believe that too. And I think a lot of times, I think that's what a lot of our non-African based brothers and sisters are worried about, that the motherland is the answer.
Yep.
Everything is there. The intelligence, the resources, the space, the creativity, everything is there. And so as long as those who are still there, that they nurture it and protect it, then this will be a reality.
And don't, still we do have the reality that a lot of our people who are on the motherland have a different idea of Europe, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
because, you know, people will be listening to this and they'll be like, okay, if that's the case, so why are they coming if it's so beautiful over there? So, like, you know, but it's both,
Yeah.
you know, like, I do understand if people think like, okay, I want to go and see the world outside Africa. And I do understand now the new kind of, you know, the trend that is coming now that people from here are returning because, and both ways are okay. And there's space basically for everyone to move like back and forth. The main thing is just like we need to do it like together, like it's
Exactly. That is
Or
that is the
supporting
missing
one
link.
another at least.
Because everything is really there.
Mm-hmm.
Talent, like you said, the talent, the knowledge, the motivation, but what really is missing is us understanding that we need each other to grow. And I think that was lost in translation somewhere because I feel like a lot of people are working for themselves because it's already hard enough for one person.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to pull someone along with you, that takes a lot of hard work. And I think a lot of people are not willing, or maybe they don't know how to do it. And I think that's why education and inspiration is crucial in order to bring everybody together and understand that we have power in numbers. If we look at the world map and actually understand how many people are Black, like around the world, the numbers are on our side. And it's not about bringing people or pushing people against each other. Me and us, we like to work and collaborate with everybody, but we shouldn't forget our identity and
There it is.
I think I have a very interesting perspective on
Yeah.
diaspora situations because I was born and raised in Ghana. I left Ghana when I was 18. So most of my young formative years was spent in Ghana.
Yeah.
And I lived in the UK since 18 till I was about 37. I've been here now
Another-
for 4 years. So
yeah.
that's 3 different experiences.
yeah.
And what I see is when I was coming up in Ghana, there's always been classism in Ghana. And I would imagine the rest of Africa. And there's this we are different from you attitude that I used to be there it's still there. But when I was younger, we still used to have friends of different classes. And what I'm seeing now is, especially us from the diaspora, when we go back to Ghana, it feels like we just want to connect with people who are from the diaspora, or at least people who are of a certain class. What
Is
do we
that so?
expect? Yes.
Yes,
That's what
a
I'm
lot
saying.
of yes.
What are we expecting the other people
Yeah.
to do with us? Like, if we go back to, say, Ghana, and we just connect with people of the diaspora and people
Okay.
of a certain standard,
Yes.
what are the others supposed to do with us? You know,
Okay.
it would just create more
Dissension.
dissent. Exactly. So it's kind of like when I was growing up, my best friend that I hanged out with every day, and thanks to God, I lived with my uncle and my auntie who were pretty well off. But my best friend's mum fried yam next on the street. God rest his soul. He died about 2 weeks ago, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
But he was my best friend, more damn near. And him and the rest of us, we were all well off than him. But we had different classes of friends that we really shared time with.
But
you
that
know?
only happens to a certain age, whether we're all black-based or when you have, for example, in history in America, you had the white families and then you had the enslaved people. The children played together until it wasn't okay anymore. So that is the starkest difference of culture. Now, this is not an excuse, but this is a necessary educational point that I don't think we are, especially the younger generation, understands why are we black people like that? Why don't we trust one another? Why don't we want to get along? Again, it's not an excuse, but it's an understanding bridge that, for example, I can only speak most intelligently, I'm not saying intelligently, but most intelligently about African American history. They did the job consciously, thoroughly, systematically to separate us based on skin color, based on economics, based on intellect. And this is something that goes to the core, to the DNA of us. So you can be, like say if you were born a certain way, and stay in that situation for a while. The first, this is scientifically claimed to be true, the first few years of a person's life is the most important.
Yeah.
So if you think this about yourself and then you're in another situation, you will still always think this about yourself and about your people. So.
But you had your perspective on Ghana now, but then you moved to UK.
Okay, yeah.
So what changed, like the diaspora aspect?
In terms of the UK, the diaspora aspect has been is very interesting because I got to the UK at a time where there was a bit of a diaspora war going on between the Jamaicans and the Africans.
Okay.
Well, the Caribbeans, mostly Jamaicans and the Africans.
Yeah.
Where I think there was a bit of they looked down on Africans, and obviously the Africans we had our own stereotypes about Jamaicans, so there was a bit of a war going on there, and obviously from there around the early 2000s, the popularity of Jamaican music and everything, so Africans started buying more into the Jamaican culture. Even my younger brothers and my younger friends were lying that they were Jamaican.
We did that here.
So
we did the same thing over here.
It was it was a very interesting time. So we got into their culture. So it's nice to see now that because of the rise of Afrobeats and the internet, and they get into know more Africa, they now can buy into our culture. So the merging has become
and it's
stronger.
Interesting through the music.
Yes, through the music.
That's the thing, and that's what I'm saying about Germany. It's kind of like in the UK, like I said, we had grime music, and grime music wasn't done. Grime music was heavily influenced by Jamaican culture, but we had African artists in grime music who were respected. So the music gave us a community, like a shared kind of thing. And in Germany, the hip hop music even doesn't really economically belong to black people.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't in America either.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
I mean, at least in America, the faces.
Well,
of it.
that's this entertainment business is another thing. I would love to develop this, that those who want to get in the business of it, they have to. My daughter, for example, good for her. She got her master's degree in business, songwriting, producing, so she knows what she's getting into, the business of it. Where a lot of times, a lot of us young, or I love to call myself young. Older. Don't call me old, but you can call me older. I'm like the grandma around here. Hopefully. But to learn the business, the politics of it, the media of it, all of it. It's like all of us. You need, as a politician, you need all of this.
I need all of that.
As a content person, you need all of that. And we all it's a wonderful program you presented here, and I've learned so much. No, isn't it? It's like the core, I believe, because you also did it in English. Yeah. There's no excuses about it because you can reach more people. Yeah. I'm sure eventually when the funds, the time are there, you can get it in other languages if necessary. But kudos to you, sister. This is a really wonderful thing. I'm honored to be a part of it. I've learned so much. And
as we are here using media, it is actually one of my tasks in politics to actually, see more into the media aspect, especially for migrants, not only black people, but migrants, because we all know that media is like, it shapes, it changes narratives.
It does.
But right now we are just, used to one side of the story, and it's definitely not our story.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that we need a platform where we shape our own media in the various
You're
ways.
going to get me
yeah?
shouting on that one, girl.
Amen.
Yeah. So that is why it is so important to speak to all of you are involved in engagement of the community, and all of these aspects matter in order to become successful, or even seen visibilities for something that we, and then the sustainability of it, the aspect of that is basically through economic strength to media presence and to activities that we all have to do.
I don't necessarily want to talk about religion, but there's one aspect that I would like to mention about the spirituality of it.
Yes.
Because the basics when a young person hears, get an education, get a job, get a career. But why? Why do I,
My son wouldn't say that.
No, but I'm just saying, of course you have to eat. Of course you have to have a roof over your head and clothes on your body. But more specifically, why am I on the earth? Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
What is my purpose? Is anyone teaching me that I need to have one? Is anyone guiding me as to how do I find that? How do I, you know what I mean? So this is the spiritual, the soul. I don't want to discriminate on anyone. So I'll kind of segue between soul and spirit of it, the meaning, the impetus by what, the essence of us. These things also within each of our realms, I think is part of what we need to remind ourselves. Before it was easy for me to live because I had my children to feed. But now I'm a single woman again. What is my purpose in life? Why do I do what I do? What is my impetus behind anything that I do? And if it's because me, myself, and I needs to eat, me, myself, and I, they're telling me in the media I need to be thin and beautiful and other things, successful, have some candy on my arm candy, something. The media creates the narrative, changes the narrative. But I think this aspect of the soul of and the essence of it is something that I'd really love to help us continue to nurture ourselves and the upcoming community.
Wonderful. We are getting close to the end now. And I think actually what you just said, the religious aspect of it.
More the spiritual.
Or the spiritual aspect of it, is something that we should all, take along. Is there anything that someone would like to,
I'd
to
like
say?
to ask a question
Yeah.
because I've come across idea. I think we might. This is going to be probably a longer conversation, but I have come across idea a few times, and because of, like I said, my experiences in a few different countries, I feel like I sometimes when I'm in Germany and I'm experiencing certain things in the community, I feel like I'm living this life twice because I experienced the same thing in the UK 15 years ago.
Exactly where we are 15 years ago
Yeah,
is where we are in Germany.
Exactly. So when I see what you guys are doing, which is it's amazing work, believe me. My issue with that is two things. One, because I think there's too many of this sort of idea in communities building. Like there's idea, there's, like you said, boldly.
We're working together.
It's actually one group.
But there's a few other ones.
Yes.
I don't want to mention too many names.
Yeah.
But there's a few other ones.
Yeah.
And what my experience tells me is
Synergy.
it makes more sense for there to be synergy.
That is what we're leading our work with.
Yeah.
We started our first event and all of our events with community. We call them community partners. So they all have their role. Boldly works with children and students. We work with people in many different business sectors. Adan works with academic people. ESD or IOTO, they're more activists. So everybody has their own role, and we like to bring everybody together. We have our focus in business and economic strength, so we try to do what we can do in that field. But our main goal is, that's what we're trying to do. Of course, the system is not there yet to say that everybody, it's not a perfect world. So we are trying to lead and be a role model in that way, that we have to work together. There's no other way.
It's very interesting because when you mention Adan and when you mention Ioto, they would say the same thing that you are saying, because basically Ioto basically was even there before you guys came.
Yeah.
And Adan would also say the same. But
they have their specific topics they're working on. So I think working together
is
on the main idea, but focusing on your area of expertise, I think is important too. But I still agree there has to be a lot more working together and also bringing together. Not everybody has to do their own small initiative.
I'm not sure. I mean, I of course agree. Working together is better. Finding foundational, agreed upon topics and purposes. But then you have the challenge of who's going to lead it.
Yeah.
So I don't see a problem with having 12 Black libraries all over just in Altona, okay? There's no problem with having many different companies that do what you do.
Yeah.
If you're the only podcast place, God help you, you don't have enough space and time. So build them all up, but just make sure we support one another, whether it's through prayer, through money, if you're having a program, try to visit it, try to support it. Just don't do the negative. So I'm a really strong believer in the more the merrier. Not if you're by yourself and you say, well, I can do it better. Then you should go over and say, why don't you just be a fly on somebody's wall first, volunteer for them or apply for a job instead of this small mine. So, yeah.
This mine attitude is also what keeps us from growing because, like I said, we need each other. We're also working with other migrant communities as well because we can't do it alone. No. It's just how it is.
Well, then, thank you guys for being my first guest on my talk show, iTalk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we have to get you. We're really going to get you a jingle.
Oh, I actually have one in
I'm
mind.
sure you do.
Yeah. And, and I'd just like to say thank you once again and also, highlight our Black History Month number 1 on the 1st of February with Love and the crew, and the second one at the Rathaus, the political one, on the 2nd, more directed to the Afro-diasporic, the Africans.
Can we see that online? Can we get more information from the if I can just say on the 1st of February for the 30th, if you look up on social media Black History Month, you will see that celebration and other programs. But yours is a very specific, special program.
Exactly. The specific one is by invitations, and they're out already. So those who have the invitation hopefully will grant it and will come and visit us.
Absolutely.
And then there's more program for the whole month, and that's the special thing about Black History Month. We have also Black History Month in the educational field, like the Ministry of Education, where I took it into for teachers to tap into the story of Black history things, and others are doing other things. So it's a wonderful thing that you guys, actually created and established for us, for the next generation. And I hope we'll have other platforms, just like in this case, IDEA have, for the future. And with the help of God, we'll have our media centrum.
Yes, exactly.
Not putting you in out of space, but
media centrum, production company, the business side,
film,
all of that,
music, and
all of it.
That's big. Yeah. So thank you for coming. Bye bye.
Beautiful, Irene. All the best. Blessings.
Hey.